Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things, back again today with just a quick little show and tell, I guess you could say, about my pens and inks. So I had been looking for a blue that I would really like to use with my new TWSBI. I'm sure some of you are laughing because I said I was just going to get a few, I was going to stop. I think as far as the TWSBIs go, I will hold off for a while now. I have all the clear colors that I'm aware of that there are. And I just think they're so pretty. They just remind me of like gems or something. So I enjoy these pens and I like how they write. The favorite is the Broad. See, I have ink all over my hands because I've been messing around with the inks all evening long. Anyway, I like the Broad. I like the 1.1 too, but I think the Broad is just a nice big bold line, which I prefer. And so far I've liked most of my inks in the Broad. So this just arrived today. I didn't do an unboxing. I didn't think you needed to see another one of those necessarily because I have all the same kind of pens mostly. But I did go on kind of a whim, I guess you could say, although I did look at several inks, so it wasn't totally a blind move. But I've been wanting to try these Pilot inks. I don't know how to say that exactly. Iroshizuku, and then the ku-jaku, I don't know. It means, let's see, peacock. And I read that it writes pretty wet, and I've seen some examples online of people using this ink, or I guess I should say on YouTube. Anyway, and I bought it on sale. So Jen's TNs, Jen from Jen's TNs also recommended this ink. She said she really liked it. So I just, okay, I'll try it. I've been liking the samples. I like trying a sample before buying these big bottles, but I don't know. I just wanted to do it, and I wanted to have an ink for my new blue TWSBI Eco in Broad, as I just said. So lately, when I've been getting my pens inked up or switching out inks and trying different inks and different nib sizes, I have liked using a couple different papers to see how that works. From a practical standpoint, I have enjoyed a lot of the Noodler's inks because I really like that they're waterproof. And if I'm journaling to people, I want those journals to last. I don't want like them to get wet and then all of a sudden all this work that I've put into them, it has been wasted. So from a practical side, I've liked a lot of the Noodlers, but I'm also enjoying these just beautiful, beautiful inks. I had so much fun swatching the inks that Jen sent to me. I'll just show you that real quick before we try this one. But these are the selection. She sent me the frog, which was my main interest. And then, but then she was so nice to stick in all these others. I did a video on that, but I did swatch them last night and had just a ton of fun with that. And like, so I'd put one down like the Sailor, I think it's Manyo Haha or something like that. It had leaked, so I didn't get the first part of the word, but I put that down. It was just this pale blue, and I'm like, why do people like that? That's just blah. But then as it dried, it had all this different dimension and color. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just one was more beautiful than the other. I felt like one of my other favorites was this Robert Oster Crystal Marine. I love the shading in that, and it's got that shimmer to it. The Organic Studio Santiago Sea Blue, another one that really looked beautiful. Organic Studio Henry David Thoreau, Organic Studio Nitrogen. So it's like there's such a beautiful selection of inks out there, and so I'm torn between the practical side, don't let your hard work get washed away if something spills on it, but also enjoying the beauty of these inks. So I think kind of how I'm feeling is for everyday writing or writing letters to people or cards or even in some of the journaling, I'm just going to have fun with all kinds of inks, but I will probably, I don't know, think about it a little bit if I'm really wanting it to last. The Noodler's ink, which is Heart of Darkness, is a nice, bold black line, and it's waterproof, so I think that's good. And it's also an ink that will work well on all kinds of paper. So if you're not just writing on like Tomoe River or Clairefontaine or something like that, it should work well for you. And I've had pretty good luck with that so far. But anyway, these are so pretty. And that frog one, I really want to get that. I love it. It's so pretty, and I think it'd be really fun in my green TWSBI Eco, the one with the green lid. Right now I have the Rohrer and Klinger Alt Gold Green in that one, and I like the shading on that one a lot, but it still is not quite as wet of an ink as I have found that I prefer. So anyway, these kind just can post like that, and I have inked this up. I just did a little while ago, but I haven't tried writing with it. So if I ever even got around to saying what my point was, is that I'm trying it on this Clairefontaine paper and on Tomoe River. So this little insert, it's a Traveler's Notebook standard size insert, is the 52 GSM, and this was from Goulet Pens, and I just tape all my pens in there. And just a little side note, the Moonman Wankai, or however you say it, fine nib, that pen I just don't like. I like it with a wetter ink. I don't like the fine nib. I don't know if it's that particular nib, if it's that style pen, but I love the TWSBIs in my Lamy Safari, but as much as I want to like that cute little pen, I have not bonded with it. So I keep trying. And I did put a really wet Noodler's Green Marine ink in it, thinking that would help, and it does help. But it's still not my favorite kind of line. So let's just explore this. You can do this with me. When I usually, when I get an ink, I usually have been swatching it, and then I use my daughter's little dip pen. She has like a feather pen with a metal nib on it. It's nothing fancy, but it's so fun to write with it. And it really allows some of the sheening qualities to show, or the shading in some of these inks. I feel like an old scribe or something when I do it. But for this purpose, I'm just going to use this because this is my new inked up pen. And this is, again, I don't know how to say it in Japanese, but it looks like ku-jaku, Iroshizuku. It's produced by Pilot. And again, it's supposed to be kind of a peacocky. That's so funny. Peacocky, that's probably not a word. A blue that looks like a peacock blue. Okay, so we'll just, what can I do on here? I'll just write the name of my channel. So, Gail's Bookish Things. Such an original title. Goes on super wet, and Jen told me that, and she's right, and I love that. I love how that feels when it goes on like that. Have you ever seen some of the close-ups people do of inks when they go down on the paper right at first? It's so neat. It looks like it's just pooling there, and then it dries. So this is pretty wet. If I had my little blotting piece, I would put that on right now. I feel like I'm getting it all over my hand, so I might have gotten it on the end here when I was inking it up, and I maybe didn't clean it all the way. But I like this. That's a real pretty color. I think that'd be a fun everyday. I'm just going to use it, you know, like just, I don't know, any kind of writing I need to do in my planner or whatever, in my Bible study, whatever. I'm just going to use these pens and see what happens, and just have fun with these inks. And then the stuff that I just want to be more archival, I might be a little more careful with the inks, but we'll see. Who knows? Okay, let's try it on the Tomoe River. I go back and forth with this Clairefontaine. I was expecting to absolutely love it, and I was a little bit disappointed. It didn't write how I thought it might. Well, the paper doesn't write. It didn't take the ink like I thought it would. But I have found with some inks and pens, I do like it, and others not so much. But overall, I have got to say my personal preference is probably the Tomoe River paper. Okay, so I'll do my little swatch area there. Let's go to, so pretty. That was so much fun. My husband's out of town this weekend fishing with a buddy, so I've just been like playing around with my inks and getting a few Happy Mail packages ready and stuff like that. But this was just a riot. I loved it. She gave me all these, and so probably for an hour or so I just swatched the inks. I think that nitrogen is so cool. Anyway, I digress. So let's try it on Tomoe River. And if I didn't say, I think I did. This is a broad nib TWSBI Eco. And I like this. And I love how it feels. It goes on really wet, real smooth. And it's going to be fun to see the amount of shading. Somehow this paper, it's got, you know, a slick surface, but it seems just, I'm not an expert, so if you are, you're probably laughing at me, but I don't know, it's thicker. I like these thinner. I'm not sure, like a drier paper. I don't even know if that's such a thing. This seems somehow more absorbent to me in a good way, where this doesn't seem to take the ink in the same fashion. If you know more about the papers, I would love to hear your wisdom on that and what you can share with me. Earlier tonight I did my Scotch Brown Monteverde by, well, it's Monteverde Scotch Brown, and I really liked the shading on this Clairefontaine. But like the Aurora Purple, which I love in my swatches. Let me go back to that. Like here when I first swatched it, it's absolutely beautiful. And when I used my daughter's dip pen, amazing. And same with the Alta Goldgrün by Rohrer and Klinger. I just think that this paper, the Tomoe River, takes it differently than the Clairefontaine. And maybe it's a personal preference thing. So that's only my uneducated opinion. But I do know what I like. So whether it's shows me to be something, I don't know, like I don't know anything. I just like this. I like this better. But this has been fun comparing with. I haven't tried Rhodia paper yet, and I know there's many other kinds. But so far, these are the ones I've generally been swatching. So let's look back at this now that it's dried a minute. Definitely has some cool shading. There's some red sheen in there. Don't know if you can see that. It would be fun to, I need to do a swab, but let's just kind of make a nice wet spot here with it. Oh, it goes on like super wet. Oh my gosh, I love that. Because it's going to look so neat when it dries. Yep, thanks Jen, good recommendation. I like it. I'll be using that a lot. And let's see what it does here. And so any of you that have been following these, you know what, if this is like drier, just like soaks it up, I feel like. It just reminds me of a coated like spiral notebook paper. Don't mean to insult Clairefontaine, but I don't know, it's weird. If you've had the same experience, let me know. And I don't think it looks as pretty here. Anyway, I don't know if it helps to show it closer like that. What I was going to say is, though, I've been working on a wedding album, guest book album, I guess you could call it. More of a guest book than a wedding album, but I keep calling it a wedding album. Anyway, my daughter's getting married in October, my second daughter, and I'm working on the next step. I finally got the piece in to do the spine on that, where I'm going to add a little hook for a little journal tassel. So if you're interested or you've been following that, I do plan on filming that tomorrow, the next step, and probably within 1 or 2 more little videos we'll have that finished up. So if you're following along and wanted to know, that's coming. And if you're needing to make a little junk journal for an occasion, I will be working on that tomorrow. So that's all. Just a little show and tell tonight with my new pen. I'm starting to see some reddish sheening, and depending on how the light hits it, I definitely am getting other colors in there, but this is not the best lighting, if you haven't noticed. Kind of a obvious thing, stating the obvious, right? Well, that's all. Hope you're having a good weekend. Have a good rest of the weekend. It's Friday when I'm doing this, so enjoy the rest of the weekend, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.